Und willkommen zurück. Wir stellen diesmal den Monsieur Dings zur Rede, glaube ich. So. Mirabeau zur Rede stellen. Genau, da wollen wir hin. Was dem denn einfällt, so scheiße zu sein. Wenn er hier ist. Also, keine Ahnung. Nee, das ist der andere, ne? Das ist der andere, genau. Wartet.
I have just come from the Tuileries. The Armoire de Fer has been ransacked.
Diable. Someone beat us to it. This is very unfortunate. God only knows what we would have found there.
Whoever it was had to fight for it. I found a body there, killed by automats.
Mon Dieu. How dreadful.
Dreadful indeed. Especially since I discovered this in the victim's hand.
And what is that, pray tell?
A dueling pistol. With your name engraved on its plate.
Oh, May we? You're right. It is my pistol. It was stolen along with a number of other things. It happened just before the Estates General at my lodgings in Versailles. But how on earth did my weapon end up in the hands of this poor soul?
I am certain we will find an explanation. I'm going to have a look around. With your permission, of course.
Well, since I'm in no position to dissuade you.
Okay. Ja, hier ist eh nicht so viel jetzt. Nur wenige Zeilen wurden nicht von Flammen verzählt. Wie es auch Monsieur beliebt, Vertreter der dritten Standes, deren Wut vermerken wir sollen. Verschwiegene Diener. Naja.
You appear to have burnt these papers in a hurry. I'm eager to hear your explanation.
It's nothing at all, I assure you. Frivolous letters that were cluttering my desk.
I find your defense unconvincing. Why won't you tell me the truth?
You don't understand. This is a matter of the utmost importance that I cannot discuss with a creature such as yourself.
I am an automat, monsieur. This is true. But I serve the Queen. And my only aim is to put a stop to the crimes that have befallen the kingdom.
Well, know that you're not alone in serving the Queen.
What was in those letters you threw into the fire?
My private correspondence with the king. I had a key to the armoire, which served as a mailbox.
Are you conspiring with the king?
No, you don't understand. I was something of a shadow advisor, a diplomat, working in complete discretion.
Wenn ihr das
I
glauben
feared
sollen.
his stubbornness would lead the kingdom to ruin, so I tried to reassure him regarding the aims of the Third Estate. But when Vaucanson told me what happened at Meudon, I realized it was a lost cause.
You claim to be a friend of the Queen.
The king has gone insane. After what happened at Meudon, that much is clear. We can no longer expect any leniency from him. Hence my support for his wife. She's a headstrong woman, and much wiser than she lets on. You must
Ewigkeit
know
habe ich
that
die
she
nicht mehr
means to
gesehen.
put her youngest on the throne, the young prince, Louis Charles. A regency would restore peace and unity to the kingdom. Then all that would remain would be to establish a constitution. I have the support of the people. They trust me. I'm the only one that can bring about these reforms.
Aber ist nicht ihr Sohn gestorben? Bin ich jetzt dumm? Aber ihr Sohn doch wird vergiftet.
I found your pistol in the hands of a dead man. Who was this unfortunate soul?
Mathieu, one of the servants I had sent to retrieve the letters. I gave him the pistol for self-defense. Alas, it seems it was of little use to him against the king's automats.
Tell me, what happened at Meudon?
It's all here in this letter, written in the king's own hand. Please, give it to the queen. She must learn the truth.
Why were you in such a hurry to destroy your correspondence?
The letters contained sensitive information about my Third Estate colleagues. If it had gotten out, I would have surely lost my allies' trust, as well as any hope of establishing a regency along with it.
An Edwards, Firmenpate, sie nahmen mir die Beichte ab. Sie hörten mir immer zu und verstanden mich. Sie unterstützten mich an jedem schrecklichen Tag, als Gott selbst mich beließ. Und heute muss ich ihnen das schlimmste aller Verbrechen gestehen. Ich gestehe, dass ich meinen Sohn getötet habe. Ich befahl die Verabreichung des Giftes, das ihn tötete. Im Glauben, ich würde aus schwärzester Magie ein Wunder wirken und dem Kind, die Ärzte, die verloren hielten, einen prächtigen Körper schenken, beschmutzt durch die Seele meines geliebten Sohnes. Nun ist sein unschuldiger Geist in einen grässlichen Metallkäfig gesperrt. Ich habe meinen Sohn in eine verfluchte Kreatur verwandelt, halb Mensch und halb Maschine, und er versucht, die Mauern des Gefängnisses einzureißen, indem wir ihn zu halten hofften. Sein einziger Wunsch war es, zu lachen und die Schönheit der Welt in sich aufzunehmen. Doch habe ich dem Entsetzen des Wahnsinns und in äußersten Form von Einsamkeit überlassen. Ich will nur eines, Monsieur, geben Sie mir meinen Glauben zurück. Ihr König befiehlt es Ihnen. Nach dem Nichts, die Philosophen verlangten es mich nicht. Nach dem Nichts der Philosophen verlangt es mich nicht. Ich will die Ewigkeit damit verbringen, für meine unaussprechlichen Verbrechen zu büßen. Oh, ich glaube, wir müssen nochmal den Sohn töten. Naja, ich will ein himmlisches Gericht, um mich dort vor meinen Schöpfer zu verantworten. Vater, ich will, dass meine Seele ewig besteht, damit sie für alle Zeit in der Hölle brennen kann. Ui. Luis. Können wir noch was sagen? Nee. Kommst du dann zurück zu dem, dass ich dich befragen kann? Das wäre super. Mal überlegen, wie ich wieder 30 Kilometer dahin laufe. Oh, scheiße, da komme ich ja gar nicht hin. Aber ich komme hier rüber. Perfekt. Schon krass, er hat es zugegeben. Das heißt, wir können gleich unserer Königin das zusenden, das Geständnis. Das Offizielle. War krass. Also wir wussten ja schon, dass er vergiftet worden ist, aber jetzt haben wir den Beweis, dass es der König war. Tschüss. Gut, dass wir dem einen Typen nicht drohen mussten. In die Kutsche steigen. Dann Korrespondenz. Verehrte Monsieur, ich schicke Ihnen das Viel, das ich Monsieur bei Vorrat entdeckt habe. Zusammen mit dieser Nachricht erwarte eine Antwort. An Aegis, das Viritol, das Sie mir geschickt haben, reicht aus, um mindestens eine in der Laterne zu zerstören. Monsieur darüber sprach jedoch etwas Wichtiges an. Niemand von unseren Stäblichen kann sich diesem verfluchten Kristallinen nähern, ohne dabei umzukommen. Monsieur de la Fayette erwähnt Pierre Corderlus de la Closse, ein Hauptmann der Artillerie und Militäringenieur, der eine revolutionäre Kanonenkugel entwickelt hat. Das Projektil wirkt intakt aus der Kanone abgefeuert und verteilt seinen Inhalt erst beim Auftreten auf das Ziel. Wir müssen diesen Ingenieur finden und ihn überzeugen, das Geheimnis seiner Erfindung mit uns zu teilen. Es dient dem Doodle Orleans und niemand weiß, wo er sich derzeit verbirgt. Halten Sie Ausschau nach ihm. Die Hilfe dieses Mannes könnte ein entscheidender Vorteil für uns sein. Okay? Was können wir denn verbessern? Bestimmt Waffen. Ja, gehe ich mal auf von aus. Ach ja. So, hier haben wir jetzt aber nichts mehr zu tun, ne? Nee. Gut, dann gucken wir mal, wo wir hin müssen. Da müssen wir wieder hin. Wir müssen jetzt reden. Das wird wieder so eine Redefolge, Leute. Es tut mir leid, aber die wollen jetzt alle tot quatschen. Bevor wir die Hauptquest nachher mal weitermachen im Leben. Außerdem können wir jetzt die Anleihern irgendwen anleihen, wortwörtlich, und gucken, ob die jemand haben möchte. Wir haben uns aber auch immer noch nicht entschieden, ob jetzt für eine Armee oder für das Volk. Eine gute Frage, ne? Ja, ich würde gerne das Spiel fortsetzen. Danke. Müssen alle nach da oben, ne? Ja. Anleihe weitergeben, Ach, jetzt ist der andere auch wieder hier. Dann können wir den nochmal antalken. Gut. Kommt der Mirabeau? Den.
I found a broken cane. It says Franciscus Antonius on it. Do you know who it belongs to?
Well, I never. Yes, I know the owner. And I'm willing to bet you're looking for a certain François Antoine.
That's right.
Well, you'd need to look a little further east, mademoiselle. Across the Rhine for a start. Because this cane belongs, or belonged, to a certain Franz Anton Mesmer.
Mesmer, the prince of charlatans.
Good
Ja,
heavens.
schön.
It's been a long time since I've heard his name.
5 years to be exact since your learned commission denounced his theories.
It wasn't long after that when he disappeared.
Can you tell me more about Mesmer?
He was a mystical healer who was once popular with the upper class. I myself attended several of his sessions.
You mentioned a commission.
The king did not look kindly on the healer's popularity within the court. This led him to appoint a commission from the Royal Academy of Sciences.
An institution to which Monsieur Bailly and I have the honor to belong. We were asked to investigate his alleged powers.
The experiments that we performed allowed us to determine that Monsieur Mesmer's activities were pure charlatanism, a conclusion that destroyed his successful career the moment it was published.
But there was something, Sylvain. A tiny flow of energy that my devices were able to measure.
My dear colleague, must I remind you again that we were never able to reproduce your observations? It was obviously a momentary failure of your equipment.
Perhaps. I'd like to be sure of it.
When and how did Monsieur Mesmer disappear?
The denunciation of his techniques was the start of a long descent into hell for Monsieur Mesmer. He was abandoned by his clients and resumed his research in virtual secrecy. I think he was hoping to perfect his so-called science and restore his reputation with the Academy.
A hope that led him to associate himself with that dastardly Cagliostro. God only knows what experiments they may have carried out. In any case, their collaboration did not last long. Monsieur Mesmer left the kingdom overnight to return to his mother country.
Why did he leave so quickly?
That is a mystery. But those who saw him that morning say it was as if he had the devil at his heels.
This is true. He left in such a hurry that he abandoned everything he owned. Furniture, belongings, and scientific equipment. And it seems that Cagliostro has inherited this treasure.
Is that so? Well, if what you say is true, that broken cane must have passed into the Count's hands.
Yes, it's likely.
This adventurer from who knows where is quite the mysterious character. And he has been very busy recently. I've been able to observe him from my apartments, making frequent visits to Rue Saint-Honoré on the Tuileries side. I wonder what he was doing there.
Das freut mich auch.
What were Monsieur Mesmer's theories?
He is a proponent of a theory called animal magnetism. He claimed to be able to channel a purported universal healing fluid by passing his hands over patients and using magnets.
He also cobbled together a whole array of mad devices, each stranger than the last. Unfortunately, despite all his attempts, I don't know that he ever cured anyone.
What happened during Monsieur Mesmer's treatment sessions?
Oh, they were quite a spectacle to behold. Imagine well-born ladies afflicted with perfectly imaginary illnesses. A dimly lit room where incense has been burned to intoxicate the soul and cloud your vision. Amiable servants, half-dressed, gliding from countess to duchess to the sound of a sensual melody. And the great Mesmer, a doctor with wandering hands, presiding over the wonderful scene. Oh, you should have seen them. Those grand ladies moaning, crying, and falling into a swoon, clinging to that strange tub. Du théâtre, ma chère. Pure theater.
What? Was hat er getan? Was? So, was wissen wir noch? Die Schatulle. Ich zeige mal die Schatulle erstmal.
Monsieur B. I found this box with astronomical symbols on it. I believe it belongs to Vaucanson's daughter.
Athenais' secret box. I built it with my own hands. It was my gift to her on her 15th birthday.
I wasn't able to open it.
Naturellement. Athenais and I are the only ones who know how.
Dann mach mal auf.
You must arrange the planets the way they were aligned on the day of Athenais' birth. Voila, like this.
What's this locket?
Athenais is always wearing this. It contains a portrait of her late mother. She said it was her most cherished possession in all the world. To think, the poor child never knew her own mother.
Oh. Oh Gottes Willen. Lydia hießen wir. Oh,
You monster! What did you do to her?
Oh. Okay. Oh mein Gott, wir haben die Wahrheit dahinter erfahren. Lol. Krass.
Good God. Lydia, what happened? You froze the moment you touched the locket. I thought I'd lost you.
I saw her. Athenais de Vaucanson. The Comte de Cagliostro has her.
Mon Dieu. It is just as I feared.
He bound her spirit to an automat.
Please, say no more. Athenais. It is her spirit that animates you, is it not?
Yes. I believe so.
Seigneur, quelle abomination. It is vital that you go and find Athenais as soon as possible.
She is right in front of you. I am Athenais.
Alas, I fear that is not entirely accurate. You know nothing of Athenais, Lydia. Nothing of her past, her joys, her suffering. Nothing of her love for her father. You are but the vessel that harbors the poor child's soul.
Where can I find Athenais' body?
God only knows. Although I assume that the Comte de Cagliostro is taking pains to keep her alive, this is certainly the only way to keep her spirit alive in you. The only way to free her is to find her body.
Why was Eugène de Vaucanson imprisoned in the Bastille?
Once he discovered the king's true intentions, he refused to continue cooperating with him. He refused to use his talents to create this abominable army. But the king didn't take kindly to his resignation. Eugène did manage to get a letter to me just before he was arrested. Here, take it.
Mein lieber Bailey, ich schreibe dir heimlich in großer Eile, möge Gott den mechanischen Boten schützen, den ich mit diesem Brief zu dir schicke. Sie haben mich gefangen genommen und sich nicht mehr bemüht zu verbergen, was mir bevorsteht. Ich werde die Bastille geschickt, wo sie mich zwingen wollen, meinen letzten Geheimnis preiszugeben. Zum Glück konnte Athenais entkommen, doch sie werden sicherlich Jagd auf sie machen. Eile ihr zu Hilfe, wenn du kannst. Sollte sie in den Händen fallen, werden sie als Druckmittel einsetzen. Sei jedoch versichert, dass sie nichts mehr aus mir herauskriegen werden, selbst wenn mir das Leben kostet. Adieu, dein Freund Eugens. Oh, Leute.
Can I help you, Aegis?
What is the significance of these objects steeped in memories?
Nemes, I have reread every work that I have on them. Pages that have remained unintelligible to this day. These echoes go back to the beginning of time, to that fateful day in ancient Greece when some dark magician took it into his head to bind a soul to an inanimate object. You see, Aegis, there is nothing more diabolical, nothing more unnatural than this sorcery. The soul is the very essence of the divine. It refuses to submit to such an abomination and resists, eventually breaking. The earliest necromancers whose works have survived through the centuries all describe the same phenomenon. When a soul is fragmented, 3 shards of memory are torn from its consciousness and take shelter in 3 objects that the victim held dear. It's as if these memories wish to remain bound to the mortal who had held them until then.
I found this notebook written in Latin.
Indeed. Medieval Latin, to be precise. Oh, hold on. Bon sang. Aegis, what a find. This handwriting, I would recognize it anywhere. It's in Nicholas Flamel's own hand. Give me some time to study this, and I'll tell you what I'm able to glean from it.
Have you finished reading the notebook, mon père?
Yes, Aegis, and what I learned from it puzzles me. In this diary, Flamel tells of 3 journeys. 3 journeys into what he calls the in-between. A strange world filled with wandering souls. Tormented spirits that are unable to ascend to heaven.
This world. It's where Cagliostro's victims were trapped until I freed them.
En effet, I believe you're right. But that's not all. Flamel planned to return there a 4th time. He wrote this in the final paragraph, in his handwriting, dated 21st of March 1418. That was the day before he died, Aegis. What if his body died while his soul was traveling through limbo? What if he were trapped, a prisoner in this purgatory? Aegis, because of your unique nature, we have an incredible opportunity.
What do you mean, mon père?
If the soul that animates you has been bound to the automaton that serves as its vessel, then it can be separated from it too. And if this were the case, the soul would travel to purgatory, where Cagliostro entraps the souls of his victims.
Hold on. Are you trying to convince me to go and find Nicholas Flamel?
I'm offering you a chance to speak to the man who discovered the Philosopher's Stone. Surely you won't pass it up.
Assuming I agree to venture into purgatory, do I even have a chance of finding him there?
Certainly. According to this journal, the soul flies to the zenith of the place where it left the body of the deceased. Or that of the pilgrim, in this case. If Flamel's soul is trapped in purgatory, as we've guessed, you'll need to go to the house where he drew his dying breath.
Is it still standing?
Of course. It's on Rue de Montmorency, in the quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. You can get there via the cemetery of the Église Saint-Jacques.
And how do you plan to free my spirit from this automat?
We would simply need to break the bond between them. To do this, we would need to stop your machinery. For a short time, of course. We don't want to lose you, ma chère. As for the rest, it will be a question of mechanics, chemistry, or electric currents, or something or other. Therein lies the problem. This is far beyond my comprehension.
Voll ins
But it
Fegefeuer
is
soll ich gehen.
fascinating, isn't it? Perhaps Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier could shed some light on the matter.
Oh nee, ey. Okay.
Goodbye, mon père. Monsieur Bailly, do you think there is any way to interrupt my internal clockwork?
A most unusual thought. What do you have in mind, Aegis?
I would like to briefly sever the bond between my spirit and this automat.
It is a very strange request, madame. For what purpose do you seek to free your soul from its shell?
According to the abbot, my spirit would then be able to visit purgatory.
Oh, that dreadful place. Why on earth would you want to go there?
I hope to find answers to some very important questions.
You must understand, madame, that your very nature is a mystery to us. We are ignorant as to the principle that imbues you with life, nor do we know how your machinery works. That is why it is impossible for us to make even the slightest alteration. It would mean taking an unacceptable risk. Of course, if we had documents that could shed light on the matter.
Antoine, the blueprints.
What blueprints, mon ami?
Ludia's. Eugène gave them to me when he was working on the modifications ordered by the king. He wanted my opinion on the potential for reducing the size of certain key parts. The documents are obsolete now, but they could tell us quite a bit about the mechanical principles that are shared by Ludia and Aegis.
Bon sang, you're right. Where are the blueprints now?
Alas, the situation is not in our favor. I kept them in the safe at the observatory, but earlier, when I went there to collect my most important documents, before setting off for the convent, I found looters making off with its contents.
Blasted scavengers. Their kind are always quick to make the most of chaos.
I chased them to the quays, but was unable to apprehend them. When they disappeared into an underground passageway under the Louvre, I decided it was best not to follow them.
You acted wisely, mon ami. The automats are everywhere, and the marauders don't stand much of a chance.
I'll try to track them down.
Check. So. Das nächste Mal gucken wir, wen wir die Anleihe geben, würde ich sagen. Und dann sehen wir uns beim nächsten Mal.